If you are willing to handle a specific key of a given object, for instance, you are willing to remove it or you are willing to edit the related content, you are in the right place. If you are looking to handle specific key from an object with DataWeave, this is the right video for you. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Lorenzo and I work as integration engineer for Cap4Lab. During my working time, I met several issues that I tried to solve, and what if I start to record video like this one in order to help people like you? Let's get started. So the first step is understanding the main ingredient of this video, mapObject. mapObject is a built-in function given by DataWeave which allows us to understand the structure of an object. What do I mean? Imagine to have an object like this, and you're wondering to iterate over all of the key composing the object itself. So what could I do is a payload, mapObject, and the already given attributes of this function are value, key, and index. In our case, we needn't index since we are looking only for key and value. What could I do is of course something like this. If I add inside of the function key inside of parentheses, and I put value as a related one, here we go with the same exact object we have as input. Now, imagine that I'm willing to replace the green value related to surname field with blue. What could I do is, as I was saying at the beginning of this video, mapObject iterates over all of the key which compose an object. So what could I do is, for instance, if key equals to surname, then I could do key, set the value as blue, else key value. What does this portion of code mean? In a nutshell, I'm iterating over keys through the mapObject function, and as soon as I get at the key, which is a surname, I simply substitute its related value. This literally means, okay, as soon as the key where I'm iterating into is surname, please grab the key as is and set the related value as blue. Otherwise, with the else, which is mandatory in if-else statement, keep the object as is. But as you could see from the outcome of the script, the surname didn't change it at all. Why? Let me explain you. It could happen with DataWeave that given some JSON object, especially complex ones, it might be the presence of a not expected issue. This issue is related to the fact that this equivalence is not explicitly treated. What do I mean is that sometimes in front of some complex object, DataWeave does not handle the key correctly. So what could we do? We have two options. First one is using contains instead of double equal. And in this case, you could see that the outcome we are willing to have is the right one. Otherwise, what could we do is simply using the casting directly as a string. Here, you cast the key as a string and you put the equivalence to surname. So in this case, you are forcing with DataWeave the comparison in between the key and the expected value. So here we have the same outcome. Now that we understand how to iterate over keys, how to edit the content related to a specific key into an object, let's see how to remove a specific key from the object itself. But before we keep going, remember to subscribe to our channel. My coworkers and I are creating several videos related to DataWeave, but also to Anypoint Studio, to MuleSoft and to CloudHub and all. Now, let's see how to remove a specific field from an object. This is a pretty simple operation. Given the previous object, here we have the payload. The payload is of course composed of all of the related fields, and imagine I'm willing to remove the field name. What could I use is the minus operator and set as second part of the operation the field I'm willing to remove. And here we go. The last part of this explanation is related to edit complex contents, like the array that is inside of this object. Imagine that I'm willing to edit this array and let it be a single string composed of the number composing the array in turn. I could say, so the function we are needing is join by. Join by works as follow. It takes as input the array we are willing to join together combined, and a second parameter, the string used to combine those elements together. So the first is payload.numbers, then afterwards we have, inside of quotes, comma with a little space, and there we go. Of course, in this case, we simply put as output the array combined, but remember, we are handling the entire object. So what could we do is like we did before. Given the payload, given the mapObject function, I remove the index as we did before, and if key contains numbers, do not forget that's a string, we execute the function as previously shown, set the key value, else keep the key with related content as is. And here we have the entire object, the array is not anymore there because we have the string, and that's it. Now that you understand how to handle an object and specific keys composing the object, tell me what do you think about this video into the comment section, and if you believe that this video is helpful, do not forget to share.